Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Companies to watch.
Good morning. It's time for Companies to Watch, and Dan Koh is here with us to sift through the stocks making news to check which you should buy and which you can leave in your carts. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Audrey. Were you caught in the rain today?
Yes, a little bit. You?
My goodness, it was so heavy. I had to run to my car. That was the fastest sprint I've done in a while. But welcome to Companies to Watch. That's a segment where we find out whether the stock or topic is going to be hot or not.
I'm not as good as the others.
Yeah, I always get you off guard, Audrey. Well, Audrey, we're turning to a brand that many of us might associate it with phones or just electronics in general.
Yeah.
Do you own any Samsung products?
I do. My washing machine.
Ooh.
And I have to say, I love it. You know why?
Yeah. Why?
It has AI in it.
Oh.
And so you just put your clothes in and it would calculate by itself how much detergent to use, how long it should run.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I love it so much. It has gotten me lazy though.
Yeah.
Everyone's so lazy because we just leave it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they integrate AI into everything nowadays.
Wow, I never knew that AI was integrated into a washing machine. I have to get my hands on that. But well, Samsung, it does seem like they're making waves in the electronics front. For many of us, it's a brand on our phone, TVs, and maybe even our fridge.
Yeah.
But beyond the gadgets that we use every day, Samsung is also one of the most critical players within the global tech supply chains. And this time around, they're making headlines again, not just for their new Galaxy device, in fact, for its role for powering the future of AI. And just so you haven't heard, the company has struck a deal to supply OpenAI's massive new project, codenamed Stargate, with high bandwidth memory chips.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and it's a huge build-up of AI stories we've been seeing of late. I mean, just overnight, we're seeing how OpenAI made a deal with AMD as well. So it does seem like the floodgates are open for artificial intelligence, and optimism seems to be flying sky high.
Yeah, I think they're really leaning into this now, and I think that's a great idea. And it's not just about chips as well. I believe Samsung is also exploring new ways to build data centers, even some really futuristic ideas that could change how AI actually runs. So
That's right. So let's dive straight into the details. And just recently, we've got Samsung and SK Hynix announcing that they would be key suppliers of memory chips for OpenAI's Stargate project, and that aims to build the next generation of AI infrastructure. So it's not a small order. After all, OpenAI said that it could require as many as 900,000 wafers starts per month from its suppliers. So Samsung shares, it seems like investors are cheering on the news. It surged 4% overnight, hitting multi-year highs as investors start to bet on the long-term demand for AI hardware. Ka-ching! So Samsung isn't just providing chips, it's also wanting to be part of the broader plan to co-develop AI data center infrastructure within South Korea with futuristic ideas like maybe even floating data centers.
wow, yeah. And I feel like Samsung is also walking the talk because they're working with SK Telecom to use AI tools like ChatGPT in their operations. So that could make the company smarter in the way it runs things and shows that they're thinking beyond just making the hardware.
Yeah, expanding and, of course, diversifying the opportunities for additional data center capacity within the country. I think that certainly proves how well they're positioning themselves within this AI race. So, lest we forget, I mean, smartphones, when it comes to Samsung, it remains one of the biggest rival to Apple's iPhone globally. But if we look at how, the smartphone market has been of late, it's been relatively soft with shipments declining worldwide, but they're betting on their big foldable phones and more recently their AI-enhanced Galaxy devices to win back momentum. I'm talking about the Galaxy S25, the S25 Plus, and S25 Ultra. How to keep up with it.
Yeah, I know. There are so many new phones nowadays. I think Ryan would have been a good person to speak to about this as well because
love it,
I think that he does have that big flip phone thing.
The flip phone, yeah.
Yeah, and I do know that people who use Samsung swear by Samsung. They think that it's the best camera, it's just the better phone. And on the flip side, you have the Apple users who have just been using Apple for such a long time. So I think that they're also tapping into like their loyal customers, right?
It does seem like it. Like it's hard to shift the needle when it comes to smartphones. But they're also the world's largest maker of OLED panels when it comes to TV and premium TVs. Like yourself, do you use a Samsung TV?
You know, I'm thinking now, do I have a Samsung TV?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I need to go home and check. My fridge as well. I need to look.
It's probably one of the few culprits, actually. Well, they're also a huge competitor to TSMC in the contract chip making space. While it's behind leading edge nodes, any progress here could likely unlock massive new opportunities for them. And, you know, from home appliances to batteries, it seems like Samsung's portfolio is rather broad, which could likely help cushion downturns in any one of the sectors.
I think so. I think that they have their fingers in so many different parts of people's lives that, you know, you always have a market to tap into.
Yeah. It's hard to think of what Samsung is not capable of at this point. So let's talk about the bull and the bear case of Samsung. Well, one of the bull case has to be the AI supercycle, which, you know, we talked about earlier today, the OpenAI deal, which shows that they would be a significant player in powering generative AI, especially on the back of, you know, increasing demand, which is set to soar for years. Diversified growth is another factor. Unlike pure play chip makers, like what we've just discussed, Samsung has exposure across consumer electronics, display and appliances. That huge diversification is hard to ignore. So valuation and scale, Samsung trades rather cheaply at this point when compared to many US tech peers, despite being one of the largest tech companies in the world. So for long-term investors, that is attractive.
Yeah. And I also think that let's not forget that Samsung also makes some of the gear that helps build the chips, right? They make semiconductor equipment and their sales have been ramping up on that front. So that's just another way for them to make money.
Talk about economic mode, Audrey. Well, the bear case for Samsung, let's talk about some of the factors that might, you know, lead investors to consider them. First off, we're going to start with memory cyclicality. We're talking about Samsung's biggest profits, which still comes from memory chips, and they are notoriously cyclical. Now, a slowdown in AI demand or oversupply could likely reverse recent gains. Now, it's also faced by heavy competition. After all, they're squeezed between SK Hynix in memory and TSMC in foundry. And in consumer electronics, it faces or battles with Apple, LG, and many Chinese players.
Yeah, a lot of players in the game.
It's a hard fight there. So margin pressures could also likely drag their profits. TVs and appliances, after all, are lower margin businesses compared to chips or premium phones. And geopolitical risks remains for them. After all, being tied to both US and China can be a double-edged sword. So, having considered the factors of Samsung, I guess, you know, while the OpenAI deal would be considered a massive endorsement of Samsung's relevance in the next phase of tech, it's definitely got to be a hard for me.
A hot, okay.
Yeah.
Despite the points that you put out for the bear case, I do think that Samsung is in a good position. They have diversified enough and they have so many different ways to make money. But besides that, I think that people are really banking on the way they're leaning into AI. But of course, still not without risks, you know, with the slowing phone demand, some volatility to be aware of. But I think overall, I'm feeling pretty good about Samsung.
For sure. Some might say that it's a giant spread too thin, vulnerable to cycles and rivals, but others might also say that they're a misunderstood titan and rather undervalued at this point. What do you think? 88550893. Text us and tell us whether you think it's hot or not. As of the 7th of September, we've got Tip Ranks, Yahoo, and Barron's all giving it a buy rating on Samsung.
Wow,
okay.
Bye.
That's right, Audrey. Now, here's some fun facts about Samsung. Beyond smartphones, TVs, refrigerators, and memory chips, did you know that Samsung also makes skyscrapers?
Oh, no, I had no idea.
Any clue on what iconic skyscraper they make?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. Samsung's construction division actually built the Burj Khalifa.
What?
And ships.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
I had no idea.
The tallest building in the world made by Samsung.
Interesting.
Yeah. So why was a Samsung employee astonished by a customer?
Because My brain is not braining. Just tell me.
Because he swallowed a tablet without water.
Okay.
All right. So why is Italian cell phone bills always so high?
I have no idea.
Well, because he was always Roman.
Okay.
And that's all we have for Samsung.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance.
Money FM 89.